Hey, I'm Heath with Plumbing Utah. We're here today to work on a customer's water heater and water pressure inside their home. We are going to be working on the thermal expansion tank today, also the temperature and pressure relief valve. These two all correlate with your home pressure inside the home. It'll also go with another part in the house that's called your pressure reducing valve, but these are two important pieces to your water heater. The way that this works is that our houses all have a static pressure that's determined by our pressure reducing valve. This expansion tank here is to relieve the pressure that's built up as our water heaters create hot water. It's kind of like taking a pot of water and putting it on your stovetop. As you heat it up, it's going to have steam roll out the top of the pot. Your water heater does the same thing, except for it doesn't have anywhere for that water steam to go, and so it reverts into a gastric pressure that pushes out on the water heater. The thermal expansion tank here has a bladder that deviates between the two materials, between the air and water. This side is pressurized to match whatever our static pressure is inside the home. When the bladder fails in this, then it will put the water heater under duress, because every time it heats up, that thermal expansion is going to be pushing out on the water heater, and then as it cools down, it will contract. That constant bending motion back and forth will eventually cause the water heater to prematurely fail. One of the signs that will come apparent with this is your temperature and pressure relief valve, which is this valve right here on the side of the water heater, will start to drip or leak. When this guy does that, that's a symptom. It's a signaler. It's telling you that there's something wrong with your water heater. This is when you need to call in for service. This will actually mean that your thermal expansion tank or your pressure reducing valve, or both, could be and are probably failed. Service for this is a fixable thing. The water heater here is about 5 years old, so it's still worth putting the repairs into. We also do recommend that your water heater be annually flushed out as well too. Talking a little bit about additional maintenance on water heaters as well too. Water heaters should also be flushed out annually. Manufacturers recommend that you should flush them out twice a year. We think that's a little over the top. Once a year suffice. What we're doing when we're flushing that water heater is not just running water at the bottom of it. A lot of people think that hooking a hose to the bottom of the water heater and then just running it into the drain and letting it run for 10 or 15 minutes is suffice. That will not do anything except for clear the sediment and debris that's around the drain here. In order to do a full, actual, true flush on the water heater does need to be drained all the way from top to bottom. After it's been drained top to bottom, we go through a series of agitating the system. See, when I was a kid, I remember we did an experiment where we took a jar and we filled it up with water, and then we left it in the window in the science room, and then we'd wait to see all the silt and sediment that would layer and collect in the bottom of that water. Your water heater does the exact same thing. There's a lot of minerals inside of our water that are going to collect at the bottom of the water heater. The water heater's heating element is also in the bottom of the water heater as well too. So all that heat is down there heating up, and as it's heating up, it's having to heat through this blanket of sediment that's in there. So it's going to lower the efficiency of the water heater. So removing that sediment out of there is vital to extending the life of your water heater. The other thing with all that heat building up at the bottom of it, it causes a lot of heat to be dispensed onto the bottom of the water heater, which is going to cause it to condense as well too. Condensation inside the water heater, all of your condensation is going to be acidic based, and all that acidity is going to start to corrode the bottom of your water heater. So it is pertinent to go through and flush your water heater out once a year. That's why we recommend doing it annually.